It's interesting to see how much is made at that mini bookstore.
Yeah.
Lord knows I'm a big purchaser,
Yeah.
but that's great.
And I know that the volunteers work very, very hard to keep it stocked. Right now,
The volunteer.
And
The question I had, was Bowen Island Gymnastics was a funder for $276. I wasn't sure what that was.
I wondered about that as well.
I don't know. Can we ask for clarification?
May I speak to that?
Yes.
When we moved our big book sale 1 week to accommodate the gymnastics having there, and in return, they paid us for the extra day.
Got
Okay.
it.
Oh.
Okay.
And so we were honest when we put it in.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I have to confess that I have been a supporter of the book sale for, how many years ago? We set bricks and boards up years ago. I think that the Friends of the Library do an amazing job with their book sale. I volunteer at the library and I see Anna Marie in all the time setting up the mini books. Feel extremely strongly that a library, a well-supported library, is important in the community. I do have a problem with this though, in that the application basically is asking for money to go to the library, which is, it's, the way I look at it is that they're wanting a grant to enable them to give more money to the library. It's almost,
I agree.
it's almost like we should just give more, a bigger grant to the library. And yet, on the other hand, I feel that, you know, the Friends should be acknowledged for all of the work they have done all of the years. So I've been grappling with this when I've reviewed the application.
I have a similar concern. It's slightly different. I'm concerned about funding an ongoing fundraiser event to cover the cost of the fundraising. It's my understanding or it's my feeling that over time, when people have come to us for help with fundraising, it's to get something started. It's not the ongoing cost of fundraising, and the rental of Vic's gym is an example. You know, if we do it this year, we're probably going to do it next year, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm just really concerned that we're starting to move into something that is a regular support for a regular fundraising event. I was really hoping that the insurance would disappear when Cove Commons was built, so that we wouldn't have to worry about that. But that raises the whole issue of liability insurance. And surely we can put our minds around how to get liability insurance extended from either the municipality or from a library or something like it. I totally understand the need for the money. It's not that, and I totally support the initiative. But I have those two concerns: that are we doing a good job of managing our insurance? Is that something for the finance committee to look at? And secondly, supporting an ongoing fundraising cost.
Yeah.
Where is the storage cottage?
In behind the library?
So it's a municipal owned storage cottage?
Oh, no.
I think
Oh,
this is
movement. Oh, this is the, where are you now, Rita?
It's on private property. It was built specifically for the Friends of the Library.
Okay.
So it wouldn't fall
And
in
the
line.
liability insurance was a huge can of worms.
Yeah.
That we ended up having to fund ourselves because we could not hook it onto the library. We always tried.
No, understood. That was my misunderstanding about where the storage is.
I wanted to make a comment that kind of spins from Joyce's first comments. I know this is a fundraiser, but I also have a strong sense that it's more than a fundraiser.
Exactly.
For Bowen Island. It's a way to help people deal with their books, but it's also a way to get lots of great books in people's hands for next to nothing. And not to take away from what a library does as a lending library, but I just think it's golden for so many people. Yeah. Never mind what money the Friends may make. Yeah. I don't know what. I guess I'm just I'm speaking to the fundraising point. Yeah.
So you're saying what it really is a community event?
Thanks, Joyce. Yeah, it's a community event as well as a fundraiser, and so to the extent that any grant monies might support, it would be on that basis that I think I'd be comfortable getting over that, funding a fundraiser hump.
I agree with Andrea on that one, and I think it enhances the mandate of the library in terms of community literacy, and I think that that sort of that the mandate of FOBLs is not to be sort of providing extra money. Well, it's to support the library in areas in which the budget from the municipality does not cover. So it's a very separate mandate, and so for all of those reasons, I didn't have any problems with the.
I love these conversations.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, the clarification you bring is great.
Mhm.
Donna, did you have any?
No, I would agree with what you're just saying. Like, what I've seen the Friends have done is provide some things. Like, I think they provide those children's stools, did they, in the children's room, I think. But there are several things that they have done that it wouldn't have been done by the library. They just don't have the kind of funding.
Well, and also it's interesting, as I said, as a volunteer, to see the people coming and buying the books at the mini bookstore. They're just so terrible. So it's that is a service in itself.
And I guess because volunteerism is clearly important to this group and to kind of what we look for, and this is one of the few library systems in which people can volunteer in a number of capacities, not just with Friends of the Library. But Friends of the Library does provide the opportunity for community to be involved in their library, which I think is just a wonderful asset to any community.
Yep.
And they donated $20,000 to the Gold.
Yeah. Oh, no,
Yeah.
income.
Fabulous.
Gold Star.
Yeah.
And I think the gymnastics club serves goodies outside the door.
There you go. Yeah.
Another collaboration.
All interwoven.
Okay, so that's, any further comments on any of the applications? All right, so now we come down to the crunching. We are in a situation, so what we've got is we actually have
More money than
than,
Phenomenal.
Funny that.
phenomenal, yeah.
that's quite remarkable. What do we want to do?
I have a proposal to throw out for you guys all to tear down. I don't mean it that way. I mean, as a starting point, that's what I meant. I wondered about reducing the cause amount by the second speaker, which was 530. So reducing cause to 1,000. And reducing the community lunch program, just taking off some of that contingency fund. So reducing that to 17, and that would get us there.
Well, we
Well, we are there.
We already are there.
We're there because they asked for,
Big reduced.
They
I'm
reduced,
looking
yeah.
at, I'm looking at the
Yeah.
old one.
yeah.
Okay, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong sheet. Forget what I said.
Well, no, I mean, if you're serious about that's how you feel, we should
Yeah.
be talking about that.
Absolutely.
If it was more, you would recommend not doing that second speaker? Like,
Yeah.
if you feel seriously about that, as opposed to just getting
Looking
the
for a
budget.
place to
Yeah.
get within the budget.
That part I do. I mean, I think they've made obviously there's a compelling case to get some information out there in post boxes and, a pest control speaker, but the second speaker seemed to be a bit of an add-on. Yeah.
I quite agree. I'm comfortable. I had concerns about the speaker, but I've listened to the group and I'm quite comfortable with that. But the second workshop or the second speaker, I think would be, I wonder whether it is money wisely allocated. So,
Well, and we don't know what that second round is going to be about anyways. We don't know about it.
so if we were to cut the clause back to 1,000. Shale, what happens if we split money?
I know that we had this discussion before, and what Kristen had advised at that time is that we can't carry it forward to further years.
We can't.
Oh,
So it just goes
let's
into
spend it
general
then.
revenue then?
Yes.
Can we award somebody more than
course.
the request?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I was wondering, and I know that we're not supposed to fiddle with applications, but in terms of the community lunch program, because having worked in the nonprofit sector for a long time, and Christmas is coming up, and so Christmas events or Christmas lunches tend to be a little bit more kind of
Lavish.
expensive and lavish, and I think that's a good thing. I don't know if the budget sort of, kind of thought about that, and if that's a thing that we could think about, if that's appropriate. If it's not appropriate, then I take it all back.
Yeah, I think we did have this discussion before, and I think it's very important that we don't start telling organizations what
I
they
know,
should
that's
be
what,
doing.
because
We
we have
have
this
to
extra
look at
money. I
that.
wouldn't have done it except for might be extra money.
I'm not concerned about us going into general revenue. I think that we are here to be responsible financially for the
Finance
money that
advisory
comes to the.
Oh, yeah. From a financial
And
perspective.
I would love for it to be carried forward, but if it can't be, I think that we have to be honest about how much money we should be allocating. And I don't believe that we're going to be under so much that we're going to be cut by our knees next year because of it being under. So I would rather demonstrate financial
Prudence.
prudence.
I think also there were two other applications that came for, well, one was an email and one was an application for something else that I felt should actually be more of a grants and aid type of application. I need to provide the information to everybody equally, saying the grants and aid application forms are available, please apply. Whether that organization then, I can't force people to apply for something, just like I feel that we can't now be increasing the amount that organizations have asked for.
Yeah.
The one place I wondered about increasing was the community lunch program, just because she reduced it. Why was it reduced?
Just a simple math problem, like,
Oh, okay.
we could split the difference.
Well,
So-
the only other thing honestly, I'm not trying to add stuff back in, but the only other question mark I had around cause was that a realistic amount to produce a brochure? I think it was all of $130, but
It's not realistic.
it isn't, but maybe it's not for us to say that,
No.
but perhaps, okay.
You're
I
so
think
hard.
our mandate is to take a look at the
I agree.
applications as presented.
I agree, no, I agree.
And look at the amount of money that is allocated for the grants, and how do we make sure that they're addressing the criteria to which, we are responsible for administering. So, and, I'm quite comfortable, and I don't, in looking at cutting this second workshop out of this, simply because I feel that it was, as you say, Andrea, sort of an add-on.
I just feel, it's my fault, I was looking at the wrong numbers, so, if I was figuring out how we could,
Cut some money out, yeah.
cut some money out, yeah, it might have been okay, it could have come off that speaker budget, but I feel, yeah, that I was looking at the wrong number, yeah.
I can do some further research to see whether the remaining surplus, should there be any, goes into an incomplete works reserve fund that is part of our surplus funds on our financial statements, but are allocated just a little bit separately. so that it could be brought forward next year. But I can't answer definitively right now.
Now, as far as the second speaker is concerned, if we did give them the money for the second speaker and they don't have a second speaker, it's supposed to come back
It
to
is.
the organization, to the committee.
Do we ever get money back from
From,
organizations if they don't?
well, we only have one pending organization right now that we had asked for a report for September 30th because they had asked for an extension of the grant funds. This is the only situation which I was going to speak to a little bit later too.
And we could put in
Turn
a,
that speaker, it's right.
yeah. We could put something in the reply also, that, you know, if we wanted to give them the money for the second speaker, that they have to use it, but, for that. Or not.
I'm going back, I know it's my extroverted, I'm going back and forth. I don't think it's a good, it wasn't a compelling argument. I don't think we can give it to them. That's my view.
The bottom line to me is that our responsibility is to ensure that municipal funding is allocated in as wise a way as possible based on the information that we receive and the feelings of this committee. So I agree with you, Andrea, that I think that there's a need for education about pests and vermin and skunks especially. A pamphlet and bringing in a speaker is a good one. If it turns out that there's a huge demand, then they can come back in the spring for a second
true.
funding. So
Yeah.
my feeling is it'd be better to put not use the money than to allocate for something that we feel uncomfortable is not going to be used wisely.
So that's great. So what are those numbers then?
It's $980 then.
Okay.
That's what's left?
Oh,
No,
no, I'm
no.
sorry, you want me to just?
Yeah, so
We
that'll be
have
the
700
top one.
left, 700
I'm
left.
sorry, I didn't realize
Yeah,
that you had
it'd be 1,500
allocated
there,
everybody
1,000
to
on the
their
next one.
maximum.
I would say to 1,000.
I would do 1,000
Cause,
cause
yeah.
as well.
Cause 1,000, yeah.
Just makes it round.
There we go. Thanks.
Okay. Any further questions, comments, concerns about the allocation of these funds to the organizations who applied for these fall grants?
I guess my only concern, and I understand what you're saying, Joyce, is, but, I just know that there are a lot of organizations that are doing a lot of work on a shoestring budget. $200 going back into municipal budget is like nothing. $200
700.
or 700, but it can make such a big difference in the work of an organization, and it bothers me that, it's not a huge amount that's allocated to support the organizations that are doing the work on the island, and that, it's worked out that, we haven't spent it. I just think it's too bad, that's all.
So what would you like to do, I guess?
I don't think there's anything we can do, given our policy and our
I think we all feel the
practice.
same way, it's too
Yeah,
bad,
it's breaking my heart.
But if we can move
Yeah.
this money forward, if Cheryl can.
If we can find a way
move
to-
it forward, I think
yeah.
we should attempt
As
that.
long as it doesn't impact what's allocated next year.
It will not. No, we wouldn't do that.
And I guess I'm a little disappointed that we didn't have more applications. I was surprised that there were so few for the fall round.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
given that there is, as you say, there are a lot of organizations that are doing really good work and who are in need of money.
And
There
we
are a
could
lot
have
of
had a
work,
much
these
tougher
applications.
discussion
Oh, yes.
on this.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have had in the past. Okay. Any further comments on that? Could I have a motion to, recommendation of the Community Grants Advisory Committee recommend to council, the recommendation is there. Could I have someone read the Gymnastics Club of 1,500, Cause of 1,000, Community Lunch 1,000, and the Friends of Bowen Island Library 1,500.
So moved.
Seconder? Donna? All those in favor? Great, thank you very much.
Nice.
That's, we're right, that's on time. Do we want to take a quick break?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Granting Committee.
Mhm.
Yes.
Thanks for coming, Chloe.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
What's that?
Oh, come on.
Just wearing my other hat. Yeah, I accept the gallery, we're opening the doors to show you the chairs.
All the coolest
Oh,
kids are
great.
going.
Oh, lovely, we should get all these chairs
So that's
That would be
we
great.
should replace all these chairs.
Leftovers from Tuesday shower.
Oh, is it really?
You know,
Wow.
I know, surprises are happening.
what's the baby doing? Keep it going. I do not want one of those because I will eat mine. I hope don't think those coffee
Oh, there's stuff going up. Just flat,
We work together,
Being more
I'm sort of gonna be accused of put into the recycling and stuff for the fair. I really love O&I because I think there are already names around here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially now.
Honestly, aren't acceptable. I
Jeez.
spent still with my baby.
These are good.
And give them to.
People make a baby.
No, I think they might have come from,
Somebody else who worked from somewhere else.
Yeah, so that's another big
Tyler
Tyler
did a little baby shower.
Thanks for all the show.
Yeah, it's actually getting ahead of critical mass.
And I noticed.
You know, it's really too bad, like I'm sort of equated to, you know, the council, it's been a pretty progressive council, and we've got a lot of stuff initiated and stuff like that. Now it's all coming from the state. To a point where we just gotta really come back and say, what are our priorities? Yeah, we're gonna have to hire some outside contractors, and of course we've lost
And
Cole.
if she does, it's probably.
Kristen, yeah, of course, Kristen.
That's the one she could be.
But just to have those years, I know,
We still
Just,
have, we still
yeah.
have take the museum in
Probably
town.
in another
Sally
one.
Ann Larvae, if you want.
The reason everybody's clean is because everything
Oh, I'm sorry.
started.
No, please.
There's a thing going on today too, like,
Replace that
like,
big
yeah,
hole,
that's
but I know
what
they
happens
would
for
just.
On,
I mean, we have a hard time saying.
they want $140,000.
Yeah, about what municipality,
Which is
what would
what
it
they're
be?
doing town research. And I'll get
I just
it
wondered.
there, that's no problem. So if you, sure, I'll come over there, but this is what you're gonna pay me. And then, of course, Kathy's going on, that's some work for us. CFO, which is understandable.
I'm just thinking, there's such.
So all of a sudden, we're just into this race to the top, and then we're getting caught on it. I think it's gonna be
Sure.
To make it
a really
better.
serious problem.
Yeah.
For you guys as well.
Paying the staff.
But thank you guys for your support. Sounds to me like finance and human resources have to get together.
Well, that's for sure, that's for sure, that's gonna be.
Following up that we're going to do human resources and finance. You know what?
Yeah, that's a total realignment.
Thank you, Anna Marie.
Realignment and a total.
Thank you, guys.
Oh my gosh.
It's been a pleasure listening to you.
I didn't do that, did I?
No, you didn't do that.
I did.
Yeah, Marie.
I think we're fascinating.
Exactly.
It is fascinating.
Are you gonna do something?
No.
No.
You know what, I don't.
Those are good, aren't they? Studied for a long time, and I know the English.
I haven't had those for a very long time.
Are they good?
So there's no how, well, there's no, like, you know, people are always having me.
Profiteroles.
For your party.
Yeah, you have to really
I wonder if we want to talk a little bit about what happened before now.
Yes.
Yeah, we got that
That
on.
policy, because that might change some of the talk that we have about the policy and application form.
Let's do that.
Sorry.
Just change 5.2 to 5.1.
Yeah.
You know, as far as masters, particularly around.
We're informal. We should be.
And the fact that we're not being recorded is.
Oh, I think we are.
Are we never? Oh, that. Kids.
But it's not, it's not live streaming.
Right, so someone can come and check.
Can I close this?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
When you were a kid, if
Your
your
mom
mother
is
was
so big.
it's hard.
I know.
Throwing something together, it's always, Halloween is actually my birthday. So they're all kind of fond of the day itself, but
Yeah,
but it's a kid thing.
A little something.
Yeah.
you're right. And the thing, I only have
Teachers, they're all very equal in sort of
Yeah.
status, so you
Yeah, it's the
can't,
one
there's no
quality.
low hanging fruit there that you can just pick off.
Yes.
But
Um,
I have to say, it's probably not my favorite.
And all like you say, are very useful
My boy
organizations.
is,
But I love it, I love.
I don't know, I just said, we need to have a great house this year.
Is that right?
All right, okay.
Yeah.
But Christmas,
Some people from your perspective. Yeah.
what are you gonna do for your birthday?
Well, I work that
You know,
day.
we have to really value our.
I don't know, she'll.
That's the other thing, and just even if you get $100 chose, at least we support
That sounds lovely.
because it's
Will Phil be back?
an absolute
Yeah, he comes
thank
home
you.
on
so
Monday.
much.
Where's he?
Well,
He's in
Gives
Chaplin,
some
in
satisfaction.
Scotland. But it is
Oh, wow.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When is the municipality gonna change the
So
signing on
he
their
had
bathrooms?
sent home.
Oh, you know
Oh,
what?
you just used the vents, did you?
Well, yeah, but I don't think it should matter, or wait a minute, just take it off.
Yeah, it should, yeah,
Thank you,
it should.
Donna, I had exactly the same reaction, because I went into vent, but his
Yeah.
mother died.
I mean, they look the same, and also now when you talk about transgender and all those other things, you know, a lot of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
schools are changing over.
So what's it
Yeah.
say?
And, you know, it makes,
Get with the times, yeah.
it makes a difference when you've got,
We'll put that in as a
open
memo.
urinals, but
Yeah, they're just,
I was just in
some guys are such pigs, you know, that's.
Well,
Yeah, they are, but they gotta learn.
exactly.
That's the only way to get one.
It's shifting.
I was involved with a discussion this summer because in Parramatta Center, they're dealing with this right now, and we had a big
Out of my mom's book
circle,
box.
and there was a guy there who actually designs washrooms. And he said
The cover.
they design more now
Sort of
for
chick
unisex.
cookie cover.
Yeah.
She did that.
It's the passé now. In
Yeah.
schools
Anyways,
everywhere, they're
boys
changing.
siblings Dealing with their.
Well, I
So what does that mean? They're not putting in urinals or?
You know, like.
Right, they're not, and what they're doing is doing private stalls.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I think,
And you know,
quite
honestly, for young boys,
Start
I
to come
think
to the surface.
that's what it should always do. I mean, the private.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Where is it? The first time I kept
So
it out
what?
was at the restaurant right in the West End. Somebody said it was like
Earl's on the
30
water
something.
Oh, yeah,
Go
yeah,
down to the washer,
They're on the
water.
totally helpful. It's
Oh,
not-
Right in English
Go
Bay.
down,
Yeah.
yeah. So it doesn't matter, it's not meant to women, it's just washrooms.
That's right, and we were in another restaurant and they had two stalls there, like private, two here, and the sink was in the middle.
Yeah.
So it was open, it was
Oh.
totally open, the sink. I
It's under
mean, we
control now?
didn't go through a door to go into the bathroom.
So,
Just the bathroom was.
oh, really?
He's up there.
Never seems to work. Never comes. Yeah, good for
No
you.
muss, no fuss.
Well, I got a Keurig, that's even more. I got a Keurig, that's even less.
Well, you know, it's Dustin Hoffman and Emma Thompson and Adam Sandler's playing in it, Ben Stiller, and it's just, you know, New York and a narcissistic behavior. It's fantastic. Is it a movie or? It's a movie.
What's that?
Okay. Just kind of was clutching my chest.
Presentation is what dictates
I'll have to check that out. This is done by my.
Serious.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works out, sometimes it
So
doesn't.
is that a case or is that just part of?
No, it's a case, and, yeah, it's a case, because I have cracked these things before, so I needed something that was hard on both sides.
Okay, so now,
So we did that new quick smart book.
you know, I've had, my husband and I both had problems with on our computers the last couple of weeks. Such incredible services.
Oh,
We would just phone, I mean, we have no warranties or anything,
yeah.
but we just phone. And they've been on the phone.
Waiting list for what?
A good hour at a time.
Sure did.
Helping us with our
Oh, really?
It doesn't cost anything. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we can get started, because I know we all have busy lives. The next item is the business arising from the minutes, and we actually had 5.1 is a review of the granting criteria, and 5.2 is core funding. You're going to ask Shale to do a review of what happened at the committee of the whole. If you, with your, blessing, approval, agreement probably is the word I was looking for. If we could ask Shale to do the review first, because that might have an impact on our discussion about the criteria.
Okay, so we had the multi-year core funding applications come in, and they were due by July 31st. We were surprised by how many applicants came in. There were 9, which I don't know if you've had a chance to read the report. There were some surprising ones and not so surprising ones. It was actually very difficult to go through and make a decision. It took Kathy and I quite a long time, and I think 3 separate meetings to
Surprise.
figure out how to do this. It was easy to get sidetracked and go a little bit down the rabbit hole of saying, well, actually this one does fit because of this, but really what we kept going back to was focusing on the criteria of 1.3, which was to deliver services to the community that typically would be provided by the municipality in other jurisdictions. And that's really what we had to hone in on. So the recommendation that we made to council was to award the multi-year core funding to BIAC and to Museum and Archives. And at the CAL, and Gary could probably speak to this too, all the applicants except for one came and spoke quite eloquently about the services that they provide, but I feel like everyone left also understanding the recommendation that was made and being supportive of the recommendation.
Good. That's good.
There was also some discussion at the meeting that council may review the policy to perhaps widen the parameters to allow different organizations, perhaps such as Family Place, to fit the criteria.
I just want to say how pleased I am as a member of the Community Grants Advisory Committee that the council has made this decision.
Yes.
Because it has been a hard one, it really is, and a lot of work of the.
And a lot of acrimony,
Yeah.
you know, it's caused a lot of grief.
But you look at the number of hours that are required by the large organizations to, and both the Arts Council and the Museum and Archives would come up with excellent applications. But it was, I think that this makes sense.
Yeah.
Very integral to the community, and I think a wise decision.
I think that this committee is in a unique position to really get a sense of what organizations are out there, what they're doing, the needs they're meeting. And one of the things that this committee's been able to do is have a clear understanding of these particular organizations, what they do and how that relates to what other municipalities do. But I think there's other areas as well that, and I don't know if there's a line of communication that allows for that. But, you know, there are services that happen in other municipalities that some of these organizations are doing partially. We know that, and this is a young municipality that's growing, so obviously the services will expand over time. But I'm thinking in particular of something like seniors. In other municipalities, as part of their recreation, often community recreation area, there's a seniors coordinator who will look at things not only in terms of all aspects of health and wellness, so we see that in the applications. And somehow that communication, to council around sort of considerations, I think it's just important. So I'm not making a case for these organizations needing core funding, but rather what are some of the services that the municipality might want to consider down the road.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
It's kind of like your comment about pest control.
Exactly.
You know, it is, and we do have that opportunity.
We have the opportunity.
And we should take it.
Yeah.
Good. Any other comments then? Thank you. Actually, I thought your report that you and Kathy prepared was excellent.
Thank
I
you.
agree.
Thank you. Yeah, it wasn't easy.
No, it's all what we're going through.
It must be important then.
Yeah, exactly.
And did you hear from every one of these people, like, you mean face to face?
Except for the United Church. Which is one of the ones that I did feel was actually, would have fit the grant and aid or the
Exactly.
community grant
Mhm.
better.
Which is food bank, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, the initial application was for a freezer or a refrigerator, and then for money to go towards building a new shed or renovating their existing shed.
And you've communicated that to them, have you, that the grants and aid or?
I send out emails to
Yeah.
all past and current applicants, advising everybody what is happening, so,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't necessarily make phone calls. If I have an email address,
No.
Shouldn't have to.
We
I
can't
feel
spoon feed.
like that too. It now might be a good time for me to also mention that I had received an email in the summer from Sky indicating their interest in applying for a grant, which I replied by email 3 times saying, please complete the application form, with no response and no application.
I think the fact that you send out emails the way you do is phenomenal.
Yes.
And I really think you might want to question even that. You have a website, you've got the information on it. I mean, at some point, you know, I mean, I think it's great, that personal service that
So
you
bold,
give.
eh?
It's a difficult one.
Don't take on more.
No, do not
It is
take
a
on
difficult
more.
one, except that last time I didn't, and I did hear about it.
Yeah, well, it's hard
Yeah.
it's hard to take something away, but then you get over the bump.
People eventually.
Absolutely.
They get used to it.
This committee's gonna be fine.
It is, I think so.
Yeah, good.
This was, Cheryl mentioned the application that she had received from Sky, and we actually did talk about this. It was one of those ones of, do we, I guess we talked on Wednesday, do we take their